Matt, you know what sucks?
What, Rakush?
Your dog hates me.
Yeah, well, my dog is very much all about stranger danger.
Right, but I'm not a stranger. I've seen your dog before.
I think it's been too long.
Who forgets Rakush?
You know what? Yeah, you are a pretty memorable guy. But that's only when someone, has to deal with talking with you.
And then you wish you don't know me, but yeah. Two-person episode again this week, but it's a bit of a special one. This is actually an in-person episode in the Clubhouse after a long time. Thank you for having me over. You kind of had to clean up the place a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a new fan in the Clubhouse. Matt, you've got a advanced security system happening as well, so there's no intruders, including a dog that clearly forgets the bougiest crapper that's on this show. It's a nickname we gave Okiro on last week's episode that I'm just going to use for myself now because honestly, I heard that and I'm like, you know what?
It's a good title to have.
Bougiest crapper.
Yes.
Would you want to be bougiest crapper or would I be the bougiest crapper?
I mean, I feel like you're probably bougiest. Okay, you know what? I feel like maybe that's just skewed by the fact that I feel like when we're talking about okay. I feel like when I talk to you, the topic of toilets comes up a lot more often, but I feel like that's also, it takes two people to tango type thing.
I don't know if we want to say two people to tango when it comes to crapping, but Matt, I think the actual answer is, at least for the next little bit, Jaren is the bougiest crapper because he's in the country with the bougiest crappers. So he, for the time being, holds the title until one of us ends up going to that country again.
You planning to go back anytime soon?
Yeah, next year. Plan is October 2026 right now.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, well, we shall see. But hey, this is another episode of The Mistake Zone. A special in-person one because, hey, we were able to make it work.
Yes.
I think is probably the best way to describe it. I'm spending a little bit more time nearby the Clubhouse right now, prepping for an upcoming trip. Not going to be here for the next few weeks, but Matt, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just realized now that we'll have to figure out episodes for when you're gone now, too.
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about that when we have to talk about that. It's interesting doing this recording in person again because, we don't have our cameras on when we're recording, from our own places, right? And so, even just a minute ago, you going, and seeing your face, the reaction is very different on my end when I see that because I'm breaking out laughing because I'm experiencing that in person. There is actually a whole science behind all that shit that we won't get into. But yeah.
When I was counting us in, I did my hand gestures of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I want you to know that when we're recording remotely, I still do that.
Silently?
No, I do the 5, 4, and then I do the hand motions of 3, 2, 1, and then I point at my Discord screen.
Basic. I mean, it's a whole different beast, recording in person versus recording just in our own places as well. I think one thing I pick up a lot going into a little bit of the little wall breaking conversation here is that I do listen back to the episodes a lot, even though I hate hearing myself talk. I notice how much I'm cutting people off.
I have to edit a little bit, so, it's fine to cut people off. I think as long as you're confidently talking, it makes a clean edit.
Oh, no, I don't make that easy for you at all, because a lot of times I'm just talking over somebody. But, it's just things like that you miss when you're not seeing a person getting ready to talk sometimes as well, where it's oh, okay, yeah, this person's saying something. But yeah, it should be a fun one today. We're actually just doing a regular episode. We haven't done one of these since Jaren basically went on his pilgrimage, let's call it. But Matt, we have a little bit of as Jared calls it, a meaty boy episode. I kind of wanted to start off with a little bit of a news piece or just more of a reactionary piece as well, because one of the topics that's been going around a lot right now is people forecasting a RAM shortage that either we're already in a RAM shortage or it's about to happen in the next 2 years.
we're already kind of in a rough place.
So and so I kind of wanted to ask you about it because I admittedly have not been very involved in sort of like the parts upgrade scene or like even buying new computer or like technology and stuff like that. So I'm just more so kind of curious, like what exactly is happening right now with this RAM shortage that I've been hearing about.
To my knowledge, Rakush, it's a little bit it's okay. It's all related to AI. Basically, there was a point, I think last year or the year before that, where, like going even further back, like at the very start of AI, the important thing was, NVIDIA GPUs. And then that was kind of bottlenecking. And then they found a way to kind of, get around the NVIDIA GPUs so that you can kind of like use, you like have a broader range of stuff. You're not so limited.
Right.
And now the new limitation part is RAM.
Okay.
So now that is why, like, it's kind of getting bought up a lot. And it is partially from, AI companies wanting to buy it. And it's also kind of annoyingly part that, and like the kind of lead AI company, I think OpenAI right now, is also buying it so other people can't buy it. So they're just storing it in.
Oh, like they're hoarding.
They're hoarding it so that other people have a harder time catching up to them, basically.
So, one of the stories I've been reading also is that one of the big manufacturers of, at least a big part of how RAMs are made, Micron, they are cutting or like they're closing down their direct-to-consumer shop. So like now they're only selling to like a Corsair or like one of the other companies that builds these parts.
Yeah,
as well,
they're basically becoming like like business, not business only, but like not consumer.
B2B basically. Like, yeah. One of the things like we always kind of talk about, especially when like Jaren kind of is chatting about like we chat about prices of consoles and equipment and stuff like that. We're being priced out of this hobby of ours, right?
Yeah.
And reading something about like, now mind you, I have not updated my RAM in something like 7-8 years, so I really hope my computer doesn't conk off in the next little bit because I might be up shit's creek. But
RAM prices are really rough.
Apparently you can, for like the very high end ones, mind you, you might end up spending upwards of like $2,000 to $3,000 for like the high end ones.
I happened to look because like I did basically a computer rebuild in 2023,
right?
And the RAM that I bought then, I think before taxes and everything, was 130 Canadian.
Okay,
and I looked it up, like equivalent. I don't think they sell like this one anymore, but the equivalent, specs is now going for like high 300, low 400.
Oof.
Like that's more than a doubling of price.
And sorry, like when you say same specs, like it's newer parts used to build the same spec RAM?
Yeah, basically the equivalent like numbers, is more than double the amount.
Because like the reason I'm asking that question is like sometimes that's used as sort of like a selling point to justify like a higher price point. I don't know if that necessarily for any new version, new build, whatever. Like I don't think you can ever justify like tripling or quadrupling that price.
No, it's crazy.
So it is kind of insane, right? That like we had like this boom, I would say, in the 2010s of like building your own custom PC. At least in my opinion, I felt like there was a boom in the 2010s. And then we got into sort of like this new generation of consoles that are trying to be PCs themselves as well. And then the TV, like you have smart TVs, smart everything. Like everything is trying to turn into what phones are basically, which is like it's running Android, it's running Apple, it's running basically one of like, a small handful of like operating systems. And then all the apps essentially like are optimized or like one way or the other kind of thing. And like that's where you kind of run all that stuff. And it's like we're seeing this happen with gaming as well, right? Where like Microsoft has been making this move to like put all of their games on different platforms. And like we've asked this question before as well around like what is the selling point for the Xbox if you can play these games anywhere anymore, right? And at the same time, the prices of the Xboxes are also increasing. Like it's not like their their hardware is not getting cheaper either. And so like it's really fascinating. This is yet another example of just like things getting too expensive for potentially the worst reasons imaginable. Like I've kind of like more than hinted at the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of AI. And just kind of like, it's a larger conversation than what we can definitely have on this platform. But a lot of what I'm seeing happening with AI is sort of what, like, I feel like we learned about like car manufacturers automating their entire process in like the 70s and the 80s, and like, us hearing about how many people lost their jobs because of that stuff. And I feel like a lot of that is about to happen with AI as well, because the most well-intentioned person with AI says that you can use it as a tool. However, the decision makers of AI are the ones that are saying this is no replacement, not a tool. And it's kind of scary when you think about just sort of like how much is being invested into making AI work, including, like a lot of our things getting like, super pricey as well, right? Like, I just mentioned this, like if my like computer stops working because my RAM dies or something, I'm not building a new PC. My PC's dead at that point, or I'm gonna go buy a used part, or like ask friend of the show Freddie if he's got an old RAM stick like hanging around or something, right? That's kind of where I'm like, I feel like I'm sort of being pushed into that direction of like, I'm never gonna be building another PC again. And then what's happening from there is like everything is a PC except for your actual PC. And so like my phone is a PC, my PlayStation 5 is a PC, but like my actual PC is not a PC anymore because I can't afford new parts for it, so it's weird.
I am okay with the kind of shortage of PC parts, or like the increase in price of PC parts. I am interested in seeing how that affects the game industry as a whole.
It sounds like the RAM shortage is only at the consumer level as of right now, right? Like it doesn't seem like the manufacturers are struggling with the RAM shortage, but like, if you're charging the consumer like $400 for like a, new build of I'm not going to call it dated because I'm not saying your RAM is like a dated spec or anything like that, but like, sorry, I don't know how else to say it except for like an average spec, let's say. But, again, I'm not trying to talk down about your PC. But like, if that is costing $400 now for like a regular build or like a regular spec, like, RAM stick, like, that might impact like, PS5s or like whatever's coming up in the future.
I mean, I'm more so, okay, so personally, I'm expecting these prices and this kind of situation to kind of go through basically every single PC part at some point. And I am thinking that like, in my mind, PC gaming is usually a place where people are going to be pushing, like, I guess for lack of a better, like pushing the envelope in terms of like what they are making, right? Like, because that is usually, because like, consoles have, these specs for the console, they don't improve at all until next generation. But PCs are always going to be, or, up until now at least, have always been gradually creeping forward in terms of what you can do with them. And I am wondering now, since like this is becoming almost like you're pricing out consumers, except for, really like into it enthusiasts, if this means that they won't be pushing like, the graphical envelope anymore, and they are now going to be, pushing efficiency or, just trying to get the most out of what you can now, because most people aren't going to be pushing their PCs forward.
It's, I guess a lot of it is kind of what happened with the recent generation of consoles, right? Like, what was the PS5 selling as its big selling point? No load times. Of course, like, the games look stunning as well. Don't get me wrong. But, like, if we're chatting about leaps between generations, the big leap between the 4 and the 5 would have been the load times being cut out entirely because of how quick the PS5 is, right? So, like, and you see that with a lot of games. Like, one of the reasons Astro Boy and Astro Bot have been so popular is they show you how, like, just the level transitions are basically instant and like seamless in a way that you've never experienced with games before. Now, like, what does it look like, the more advancements are made, right? Like, it's, to kind of bring up the Uncanny Valley here, I think is a great example of like the Uncanny Valley. And like, if you talk about just sort of like going from the N64 as well to where we are currently with just 3D models and 3D builds and stuff, the more pixels being added to a single model, the more it's going to take to make it like to make improvements to something, right? Like, And I think it's just like we're at that point right now where graphically, I'm not sure what advancements can come up. Now, part of that might also just be that I've never had to imagine what graphics like that look better than these kind of CG graphics look like are, but I'm sure they'll keep creating better shit. But yeah, like speed might be it, right? Like it might be just sort of like advancements in network play or like network connectivity or like, you know, things like that. I genuinely don't know. I mean, do games like, what are the advancements, right? Like, do we see advancements or do we just see kind of what has happened with phone devices where like you get a new model every year? That's what Microsoft is like trying to do. But
I mean, the thing that I'm really hoping that like comes out of this is that with the stagnation, like looking at like Monster Hunter Wilds, right? Like that was very much Capcom pushing the envelope of what their engine can do. And I hope that, hey, with this new kind of stagnation, and not just like you know, Capcom only, but for like all game companies, I hope that they're going to be less broken at the start. Like I'm really interested in seeing the state that GTA 6 releases in, I mean.
Fair. I do think that, I mean, Rockstar is the exception to this. I feel like they always release games like pretty polished, like not needing a lot of patches. Now anything could happen with the next gen. Like one of the conversations I always kind of like go back to when it comes to open world games, I was listening to an episode of the Bombcast, which is a big inspiration for us, but they had Dave Lang on talking about sort of like open world games and like how buggy Fallout was. And Dave Lang just explaining like the bigger the world is, the more things you have to QA, you're gonna miss stuff, right? So I'm curious if that happens with the Rockstar sort of like workflow and stuff. I would love to see it be a polished thing, but I mean, you bring up an interesting sort of thing about like, does this help you make better like starting or like will the games play better at the very start instead of like needing day one patches or day two patches or whatever? But time will tell, Matt. I think I kind of wanted to chat about this because it was something that was interesting and I kind of wanted to understand a bit more about the RAM stuff. And it's a bit of a down note to start the episode on. I do get that, right? Let's bring it up a little bit because behind you on your monitor, I do see that you actually have opened something that you seem pretty interested by at the very least.
Yeah, so, you know, before we went on our, I guess, like recording hiatus, you know, we're still putting on episodes, but, you know, since the last time we recorded, they had announced all the Steam stuff, the Steam frame, the Steam machine, and the Steam controller.
Yes.
Steam machine, I'm interested in seeing what the price point for that is going to be, considering all the stuff that we just talked about. Because this is basically just going to be their kind of like all-in-one PC console in essence.
Yeah.
And they're reporting that it's going to be like, you know, 6 times better spec-wise than I'm blanking on the word. The handheld Steam thing.
Oh, Steam Deck?
Yes. Yeah. It's supposed to be like, you know, specs-wise, 6 times as strong as a Steam Deck, and to have that, you know, again, kind of like going back to what I was saying before, to have a target for games on PC to run well on is very interesting to me because like I feel like that was never a thing that was ever really set in the world. Like the Steam Deck kind of did that when it came out as the de facto, hey, you should be able to run on this and run on this like well. And with the Steam machine kind of raising the bar, I'm interested in seeing where it's going to be going.
So, would it be cool with you if I read out the specs right quick? Because I'm seeing an article from, shockingly, Vice.com. I did not know that site actually existed still. But they do like a side-by-side comp of a few different specs between the Steam machine, PlayStation 5, and Series X. Because I guess like...
Yeah, that's what you're going to be comparing them to.
Of course, right? So we just talked about RAM. RAM is pretty much 16 gig DDR5 versus DDR6 or GDDR6 that the PS5 and Series X have. I don't know what the difference between those are. They also have either the 512 gigabyte or 2 terabyte NVMe SSD card on the Steam machine.
Oh, so I didn't know there was only 512 on the Steam machine.
It seems there's 2 versions. It's 512 or 2 terabytes. There's both versions include a high-speed micro SD card slot. As far as the CPU and graphics card, it's using a custom AMD Zen 4 and AMD RDNA 3, whereas the PS5 had the Zen 2 and RDNA 2. Again, the numbers seem higher, so I'm guessing that's better, but yeah. So it seems like they are very much trying to outdo like a lot of like current like high-end technology that is out there to play games. So beyond just replacing like your PC and stuff, it seems like it's like trying to be a console and trying to replace that console experience. So it's fascinating. I don't think it's going to be cheap. And that's the reason I really got the specs.
I don't think it's going to be cheap, especially in, what we were just talking about. I am expecting it to be in like the 700, 800 USD range.
Yeah, because the PS5 right now is still like $500-$600 from what I understand, US, from what I understand. So,
currently. There's been no announcements of a PS6, right?
No, but like there's a new build of the PlayStation 5, if I remember correctly. I've not been as in touch with like new builds of stuff because once I got my PS5, I'm like, hey man, things are a little expensive with gaming right now, so I'm pretty chill. I'm not gonna look this up until I actually have to. But yeah, it's probably going to be around that, if not more, right? Because if you are in fact trying to make it its own PC, like that, it's a box you connect to the TV, and like you're trying to make it a PC versus like a phone device connected to your TV. Then I feel like there's going to be a little bit more going into that. But one question I do have for you: do we know what operating system it's using?
It's using SteamOS.
Okay,
so an offshoot of Linux, basically.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So. Talk to me a little bit. Like, what is it about the Steam machine and like some of the peripherals that they've announced that are piquing your interest a little bit here?
I mean, okay, like the Steam machine is really interesting to me just because it's like kind of setting the standard for like PC gaming or like what you want to aim for PC gaming. The Steam controller is just interesting to me because of the trackpads that are on it. I only ever used the original Steam controller one time. Like, you remember the thing with like the circular trackpads on it? Like, I used that once and I thought it was a little weird.
Right.
But this one, is a standard, basically an Xbox controller with two pads like below it.
So yeah, I'm looking at the image right now and the pads, the pads are a bit of an interesting placement because if you're holding that controller in the traditional way, and for those listening to this, I would recommend just look up a photo of this because the trackpads are right underneath where the analog sticks are typically at.
Oh, sorry, I said Xbox. Sorry, I mean PlayStation. It is laid out like a PlayStation.
Sure,
controller.
Yeah. But yeah, those trackpads are like right underneath, and it's almost like where your palms would be. And so like. I don't know, like it feels like it would be, I'm curious how like they've accounted for sort of like accidental contact of like the palm and stuff.
I mean, I don't think that it is exactly where your palms would be. I think it's where the joysticks would be on a PlayStation controller because the D-pad and the thumbsticks look like they're moved up.
Well, yeah, but like if you're holding it, even like where your thumbs would be on the joystick, right? So it's more in relation to your thumb touching the joystick.
Okay, yeah.
It's gonna like the tracking pad is gonna hit at least part of like the palm or like the lower part of your thumb, and so like that's what I'm curious about is like how they account for like accidental contact and things like that there.
Yeah.
But is there anything else about that that's like curious to you?
I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Like I am wondering how well the trackpad and stuff is going to work. Because I don't know like how much like PC gaming you do with a controller, but there is a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, you're in controller mode or you move your mouse and now you're in mouse mode, and the UI does a lot of like, kind of flickering back and forth. And I'm wondering how games are going to be working with that. The Steam controller also has, four back buttons on like the underside of the controller that you can hit with like your ring and your middle fingers. And then the grip itself is like, has some type of sensor to tell how like hard you're gripping it. And I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play into stuff. Cause like with Half-Life Alyx, they introduced their new, Steam controller, whatever the VR controllers for that were called. I can't remember what they're called right now. And they were doing a lot of interesting stuff with that. And I'm interested in seeing how normal games are going to be using it. Because, in VR, it's like, oh, you're using that to like drop stuff. But that's not exactly a thing you can do in normal games. But
sorry, the way you're describing it, my brain is kind of drifting towards a PS5 controller because the R2L2 pads are also kind of similar. Like it's pressure based. Is it doing a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's doing sort of that, but like I said, it's like with like where you're gripping the controller with your palm. Yeah. And I'm interested in seeing how that's going to be worked in. But the Steam Frame, Rakush, that is the one that is the most interesting.
Steam Frame, okay.
Yes, which is basically Steam's answer to like the Meta Quest. It is basically a set of goggles that does not need a PC to run VR stuff.
Okay, so it's got its own built-in...
Yeah. It's basically like, I think like all the front frame is just basic, or like the goggles part is basically a smartphone.
Right.
Level piece of technology, and it is doing all the VR stuff for you. And that is, that in itself, I think is like very interesting. I don't know how like deep you went into like VR stuff. I don't know if you ever really tried it outside of like here.
No, I did actually just take a quick peek. It seems you still have your sensor set up there. So, no, to be honest, like I will admit, I felt like the VR boom kind of ended after Oculus didn't really pick up steam and like, no pun intended. But like, it just kind of felt like that whole boom kind of died. But it seems like Steam is continuing with this and like, going cableless, I think is a big step forward.
Yeah, the cableless part is like very interesting. And I think that the very big thing about Steam Frame isn't even the VR stuff. I think not, they basically didn't talk about at all, but if you want to just like, nerd dive into it, is that they created a framework that allows, basically it allows, phones have a different kind of like chipset than PCs do.
Yes.
It allows phones to run PC programs, basically.
Okay.
Like, they basically made a thing that sits in the middle between the chips and it translates it.
It's almost like emulating a PC onto your headset.
Yeah, emulating is like sort of correct. It's more so like, you have a power converter when you go into like a different country.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit more like that. And that is very, very interesting because that means that any PC games can now way more easily be run on mobile.
Yes.
And that is just kind of crazy for like me to think about.
So when you say easier to run on mobile, you just mean more like hypothetically it could make it easier to run on mobile in the future, right?
No, they have designed it in a way where devs don't need to write port code anymore.
Oh, okay.
You can just take the code that you've written for like your PC game and through this kind of through this like thing that they made, you'll be able to run it on a phone, assuming the phone is powerful enough.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
They just reinvented Bleem from the 90s.
I mean, basically.
So run your PlayStation games on the PC for those who don't know what Bleem is.
Yeah, like, and that's crazy to have on a corporate level.
Yeah.
They've made it open source as well, which means that thing, I think, is just going to, I really hope that it gets a lot of traction. And I would assume it would because it's just that's companies. I'm assuming it's like, they just have to like do something with Valve or not Valve. Yeah, it's like Steam in general.
Right.
And hey, we can put our product on so much more platforms.
Yeah. It's what's the term we're looking for? It's like IPs, like or not IPs, but like it's fine. We'll move on from whatever the term is. My brain is farting here.
But like, yeah, kind of just that just seems really interesting to me because, I've always thought that like, I'm not going to bring my Switch somewhere. That's like a lot of, like thing to bring.
Yeah.
But I could realistically see myself bringing, of course my phone, and there are a lot of, mobile controllers now that just snap onto your phone. Like it just like grips it and it connects through Bluetooth. I could see myself like carrying one of those around casually, just like, gaming, like just like, with all of Steam's stuff. Hey, I have my cloud saves on my computer. I can like pick up, Silk Song wherever I want. I can pick up not Monster Hunter because that's probably gonna like, shit my phone out. But, something like that, like being able to have, in essence, my PC on the go without having to carry something as big as a Switch or a Steam Deck is like very appealing to me.
I mean, there's the way you're describing it sounds like it could be a very major deal in game development, right? Like as far as like making things easier to be played on any platform, which is a pretty big deal as well. So, how much information is out there about the pricing for the frame? Like, is there any pricing information at all for any of this right now? I
don't think any of them have a price right now, to my knowledge.
There's no way this is cheaper than $2,000.
The Steam frame?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could see it for like
1,500?
Yes.
US?
Oh yeah, US probably.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about bougie crappers. I think like if you wear this new Steam frame and go take a dump, I think you would be crowned the bougiest crapper.
That would be so amazing, especially just imagining having like the equivalent of like a 90-inch TV in front of your toilet.
Your crapper.
So good.
Like imagine imagine someone makes an app for the Steam frame that is just like pick your environment to take a dump in.
Oh, they have that now on the Vive.
Yeah, so dump simulator, but wireless. Because you're actually taking a dump at this point. Like unless you're taking the Vive into your bathroom with all the cables. I don't know. That seems weird.
I feel like that has to be a thing. Right? Someone has definitely hooked up their Vive in a washroom and made a virtual environment for themselves to poop in.
Sure don't want to find out. Unless there is a dump simulator for a wireless version.
Oh, man.
I said I don't want to find out after making jokes for the last 2 minutes throughout this.
I really want to buy into the Steam frame just to, like mess around with it.
So, yeah, I mean, that was the next question I did want to ask you about this is you are one of the folks that I know that actually did invest in buying like a VR headset. Like in fact, I think you're the only person that I personally know that has invested in a VR headset. And you had it from like I would say Gen 1 or Gen 2.
Yeah,
at least, right?
I bought into the HTC Vive, and that is the only one that I bought.
One of the early ones.
Yeah,
and you kind of seen like things just kind of plateau a little bit, if not just kind of take a downward trend with the VR stuff, because I haven't seen that take precedence in terms of like we're making games for VR headsets. Like it's just not been a thing. Yeah. So but you're still interested in this. Like you're still showing a certain sort of like, curiosity with the Steam frame. Is that more to do with like just the software or sorry, not the software. Is that to do with just the hardware itself or like, is there something gaming related that is piquing your curiosity?
I mean, it is, I would say like 50-50. Like on one hand, I am interested in just seeing how good the hardware has gotten since Gen 1 because there has been I think like 2 or 3 major iterations since I bought in which I like didn't buy into, and I'm interested in seeing where it is. Going full wireless is interesting. Pooping with it on is that is that suddenly rocketed to the top.
That might be worth the $1,500 US alone right there.
And I do like VR gaming, but it is a little bit of a pain to set up.
That what I just imagined? Using a VR headset on a toilet with a bidet on it, and I feel like because you're kind of quote unquote blinded because you're not actually staring at the real life elements, you're just kind of staring at like a virtual element. If you get hit with the bidet, I feel like that might be weird. The sensory experience of this. Maybe we don't need to talk about this more. Jared was right. Maybe we need less information on these episodes when talking about shitting. But yeah, I don't know. Like
as a piece of software, I am very interested in it. Just because of like, very minor use cases. Like, I'm sitting in the back of the car. I can like, watch a movie on a, huge screen or, because I'm really lazy the amount of times that I've dropped my phone on my face when I'm reading in bed is hurts me.
Oh.
So to be able to just like have like being able to just like lie down and read on like, just like a pretty like big thing, like hands-free is like very, very appealing to me. And like, just like kind of all the different use cases I can use it in are interesting. Even like outside of just the games itself.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm sure those are also a lot of like the selling points that they have for this as well. So yeah, curious to see what comes out of it in the I'm assuming months or year, right? Like I'm imagining this is going to be more of like a long rollout versus like happening in 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they've actually dropped dates for any of these things.
Yeah, like it just kind of seems like a very introductory sort of like, hey, here's this thing we're going to be doing in the future. But Steam, no longer a software development company. Valve, I should say.
No longer just a software development.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're a software developing company anymore at all.
Okay. Do you think that there's any chance that with the drop of the Steam machine, they drop Half-Life 3?
That's the meme always, right? Like, anytime they make something new, Half-Life 3.
The kind of rumor floating around is that they're going to drop Orange Box 2, that has Portal 3, and Half-Life 3 in it. And just thinking about that is crazy. In my heart, I want it to be true, but in my brain, I don't think at all it's going to happen.
I would follow your brain on this one more than your heart, but I am just someone that is risk averse when it comes to heartbreak. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, any last thoughts on the Steam stuff before we move on to
not really.
Topics?
I'm generally excited about it, and like that's about where I am right now. I'm hoping that it is not, prohibitively expensive to buy in.
Well, I'm hoping Jaren's back soon to chat with you about this as well, because I feel like Jaren would end this on a more positive note than I typically would, so I do apologize, but I don't know if that cost is going to be cheap enough.
I'm unlike you, I'm not going to be going to Japan, so I'm just going to put that money towards frivolous purchases.
All I'm saying is, tickets to Japan currently for a year in advance are like $1,500. I haven't checked the hidden fees yet, but it's not bad.
That's not bad.
Although I can't really afford to pay for that ticket right now, and also I gotta wait until probably March to buy the tickets. So it'll end up being something like $2,200, I'm sure, unless some bullshit happens in the world. But
yeah.
But Matt, I talked about some bullshit in the world. There's a new world that is currently in closed beta. I don't know what that segue was, but I was like...
I thought you were going to be like, speaking of Japan, Japan's putting out a new...
There you go. You know what? I'll let you do this. And keep all of this in for the recording. But you know what? Let's just do a little rewind time here. Matt, what else we got on the plate today?
Well, Rakush, speaking about your trip to Japan, I've heard that you've been playing a Japanese take on a American property.
Yes. Okay. 10 out of 10. Yeah. So, I got access to the Marvel Tokon closed beta for the PS5 this weekend. We're recording the weekend of December 5th, and the beta period is going 5th to the 7th.
Yes.
So when you listen to this episode, the beta is going to be closed, basically. So I'm not going to go encourage somebody to go play it or anything like that. But Matt, this is an interesting one because if there's one thing I've been completely consistent in my opinion about, and well, it's more fact than opinion, is that I'm shitty at fighting games.
Are the online kids bullying you, Rakush?
I mean, if they're kids, I guess, yeah. Like, let's just assume a bunch of scary Utes, #Utes, were like, just beating up on me for sure. Wouldn't be a proper fighting game if I were winning, let's be honest. That's why that weird one with the robots ended up not being a fighting game, because I actually was figuring out how to play it.
Which game?
I don't know. I think it's the one that the Riot Games or Riot Studios ended up buying and turning into the League of Legends fighting game.
Oh, okay. I know which game you're talking about.
I remember getting like early access to it, but like, yeah. Anyways, back to Marvel Tokon. Closed beta is going on. 8 characters. There is a tutorial mode that is about 30-40 minutes long, after which the beta is just multiplayer. Like, you're playing other folks. So nowhere for me to hide. I just had to jump right into these games, right? And I will also give this disclaimer when talking about this game is I clearly don't play a lot of fighting games. I love watching people play fighting games, but I don't understand the mechanics well enough. I don't understand the nuances around, say, something like, hey, the iframes, how are they? Or like, how is the combo? How is the like sort of like chaining of moves or like, the damage output? Like, I don't fully understand a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, right? How is the newbie experience?
Oh, phenomenal. It is an interesting experience. And one thing that I will say about this game is this whole 4-on-4 thing that they're selling it as is actually a little bit misleading. Because it really is a one-on-one game, and you can switch out between 4 characters, but you only have 1 health bar, which is a big.
Okay,
that's why.
Okay,
yeah, that's why to me it's like a very misleading thing because it's not like your MVC games or like. I feel like Dragon Ball FighterZ, which was made by Arxis as well, had individual health bars for your 3 characters as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, so it's a very big change in sort of like, how sort of like a group combat game like this works.
I guess, sorry. Is it like you said it's a shared health bar, but is it do you know if it's like a fixed health bar?
So that's an interesting question because I don't know how the health distribution happens between characters, right? Because that's what you're alluding to is like...
Yeah, like if you pick like one person, like they give more health to your health
exactly,
bar.
yeah. So I don't actually know how that stuff is. Worth definitely looking into a little bit more, or they might not have even revealed that information yet. I don't know. I don't know. Not that I was playing this for a long time. Like I played it for maybe like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, because it's only like been 1 day as of this recording that it's been out, and I also have a 9-to-5 job, so it's not like I'm sitting here playing this every single minute. It felt like the health bars were pretty much the same, so like I don't think there was a variation in sort of like any of that. That might change with the main release, of course. This might just be for beta purposes. There's 8 playable characters. If I remember correctly, it's Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Ghost Rider, Miss Marvel, Storm, and Star-Lord. So those are your 8. I saw a lot of Spider-Man play.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like the default starting point for a lot of players getting into fighting games is go for the fastest character that you can button mash with, and which is what I did, right? To be fair.
Oh yeah, who's your go-to for?
I don't think I have one. And I say this as a compliment so far, right? Like I do think that, like for example, I've been using Spider-Man a lot, but I have been swapping characters in between fights to kind of get like different matchups going. Because one thing I found is that it will depend on how the other person plays their own characters. Oh yeah, but there are some hard counters. I did find that, like in my experience, Doctor Doom was wiping the floor against Spider-Man, like absolutely crushing Spider-Man. But then, like, I found Miss Marvel was really good for closing down, ranged attackers like Star-Lord or Doom, like things like that. Ghost Rider has a pretty good close down. Spider-Man has a decent close down. I would say actually, funny enough, Spider-Man and Ghost Rider have some similarities in some of their skills because, like, Ghost Rider has the whip, Spider-Man has his web.
I see.
So, like, that helps them kind of close things down a little bit. And Spider-Man is more of a rush character versus, like, Ghost Rider, who I feel is a little bit more of a balanced character. I have not played as as Iron Man yet. Which I don't actually know why I haven't played as Iron Man yet. I'm probably gonna, when I get home, play as Iron Man. But I played as all the other characters, and I think there's an interesting balance going on so far. I think if there's not a lot of rumors around about like how many playable characters is going to be in this game or whatever, the assumption being made is like 28 to 32, I guess.
Yeah,
but so far, yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be that high is what I'm getting at. It might end up being something like only 20 characters with more DLC characters or things like that. But I do think if it's going to be 20 extremely unique characters, it will still be a fun fighting game. Like, I don't think you need a heavy amount of characters to make a good fighting game. Like, this isn't Smash Brothers, right? Like, Smash Bros is such a unique thing in and of itself. Some similarities between the fighters, but for the most part, I would say it's a very diverse crew so far, and like you get some really interesting combinations against each other and play styles and stuff like that. One of the things that, like, as a newbie going into a game like this, I did find is that they are trying to make it a little bit easier for you to be able to hit your special moves if you just button match the same button over and over again. So, like, one of the things is, like, there's light moves, medium attacks, heavy attacks.
Yeah.
So if you keep hitting the same version of your attack, so, like, light, like 4 times or 5 times, you will hit a certain special with that.
I see.
Medium is another one. Heavy is another one. You can also use button combos to hit the attacks as well. I will say it's a lot more difficult to hit the specials when you're just button mashing, because I do feel like, at least from what I've noticed, when you hit a character, like they're either getting iframes or they're getting pushed really like sort of out of distance from a certain attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like connecting those attacks, unless you've got somebody cornered, or like, you know, you time it correctly and you hit them with like your moves correctly at that point, it's not necessarily like always the most effective way of doing it. The combo moves is another one as well, where like you can call upon like your other fighters to come and help you out and like hit your moves there as well. I found that to be personally, because again, I'm shitty at the game, so I found it to be clunky. Now, is it actually clunky? I genuinely do not know. The more experienced players, let's say like a Mark Quinto's friend of the show plays this game, I think I would trust his opinion on that a lot more than mine on this, right? So like if he plays it and he finds it clunky, I would say it's clunky. So far, I do feel it's a tad bit clunky, where like the way you have to call certain characters in is directional arrow button or directional D-pad plus your combo button, which you could change it to whatever. For me, it's circle. So when you hit that, sometimes the person pops up, sometimes they don't, and I haven't quite figured out like why they don't pop up yet. I suspect it has something to do with just the timing, or like being frame locked into like being attacked or whatever. Like I don't think it's unfair. I just don't think I've fully understood it yet, which is why I'm calling it clunky, which maybe fair, maybe not. I don't know. That's a lot of details. Like I am sharing a lot of details for somebody that's saying I don't fully understand how this game works, right? I'm just trying my best to explain what this game is. I found it to be fun to play it in a way that was like, okay, at least like the rounds are quick. Like, you know, you can get through sort of like a best of 3 fairly low time investment wise. Like, you know, you can get through it fairly quickly sort of thing. I like the characters that they have. So gameplay wise, it's pleasant. I think there's a lot more to be done with the game. I personally would have loved a versus CPU version of this, which does not exist in the beta.
I understand.
I think that's fair. Yeah, like I, for all intents and purposes, it seems like they are trying to make this beta more about sort of like, you know, stress testing it, making sure the game is balanced and stuff. I suspect there's going to be a lot of takeaways about like a Spider-Man, for example, like, you know, and how honestly, like once you start juggling with some of these characters, you can completely crush a person. Like, I think it is very easy to get a perfect round in this game.
I see.
More so than I've seen, like, you know, other games and stuff as well. I will say one thing, the last technical thing I'll talk about before going into sort of like the things I absolutely love about this game so far. But one of the things that did bother me is that you can, like, as you're getting ready to start the round, your characters are not locked in place. So it's not like a quick draw situation. You can actually like position yourself to attack the other character, like away from a character.
I see.
Like basically like jockeying for position a little bit, right? I understand that the more experienced players are likely going to be using this to get into the perfect starting position and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just kind of found that was honestly the best indicator of how skilled the person is at this game, because someone like me, I'm already like, oh, I need to rush in as Spider-Man and close down, but then I get too close and get my shit kicked in, right? And then like figuring out that distance has been a bit of a challenge for me so far, because I'm just not experienced enough. Now, the reason I think it's a bit frustrating for me personally is because it's happening at the very start of a round. And so, like, I know immediately if I'm going to get my shit kicked in or if I need to change out my character. And then it's too late to change out the character, because by that point, like, the other guy has you, like, basically, like, all done for and, like, you know, just down for the count. So that was one where I didn't fully understand or buy into it, sort of thing, you know, or, like, I don't know, I didn't feel great about that mechanic itself. So I'm sure, like, again, more experienced players will not have complaints like that, because, like, honestly, the answer to that is just get good, and that's just never going to happen with me in fighting games. So.
Yeah, Rakush, you never know. Maybe this will be your fighting game awakening.
I don't think that's going to happen, but Rakush, I appreciate it.
This is crossing your love of comics and your love of weeb together, and this could be the Rakush fighting game.
See, That's why I was like honestly very intrigued by this game, and that is a perfect segue into like the stuff I do want to talk about that I loved. But I think I got to be realistic, man. If Marvel vs. Capcom didn't do it for me, like, there's no way this game is gonna.
I don't know, Rakush. I don't know.
I appreciate your confidence. I do. But yeah, I don't have that confidence in me. Aesthetically, phenomenal game. I think like one of the things I absolutely love about this game is that they're clearly influenced by the actual comics. Then like, and what I mean by that is like if you see like the menu, for example, or if you even see like the logo and everything, they use that blue sheet paper, which is like your manuscript paper, right? Like that you actually like draw in and stuff like that. It's just an aesthetic, like it's a screensaver at this point, right? But I still like it. I like that is showing where they're taking the influences from. It is very heavily inspired by like the art style of your 90s Marvel characters. One of the newer stages that they've introduced was the Charles Xavier Academy, and you see a lot of your X-Men characters in the background, in fact. And it's actually a very busy stage as well in the background. Like, it's not actually an interactive stage. It's the only non-interactive stage so far. But like you have Sentinels in the background, and then when the Sentinels get to like the Xavier Academy, like you see the X-Men stop paying attention to your fight, turning around and going to fight like the Sentinels and stuff. So, like that's pretty neat. Like there's a lot of stuff happening in the background of that. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background of all the stages, beautifully designed in a way that I feel like it's clearly New York City, for example. Like, that's where all your Avengers characters are in one stage. But, like, it's so hyper New York City. You know, it's, like, over-exaggerated. Like, it's this thing that fighting games do with these backgrounds that I just love. And it's a continuation of a lot of that. And I think they've captured the essence of not just, like, the Marvel stuff, but your Marvel vs. Capcom stuff as well, even though it's not a Capcom production, which is the interesting thing. So yeah, like, you know, it does so much really well, you know, and aesthetically it's phenomenal. The music is amazing so far. There's one track that I need to look up the names for all these tracks. I don't even know if they've revealed any of that stuff yet, but like there's one that's like absolutely hype. Like if I heard that just sort of like playing and I'm watching it on Evo or something like that, oh buddy, like it's a party atmosphere when that music pops up, you know? So like I could already like envision a lot of that happening as well, which is what the music for these games are supposed to do. It's like put you in a different space with these games. And I think it also just kind of helps like navigate what is a fairly hectic sort of screen with everything happening. The combos are very busy, especially when you get like a 4-person combo that happens as well. Like, you know, it is really crazy in that sense. I do also like the character movesets. Like, I think they, like, especially the supers when they're actually hit, like, Ghost Rider Super is phenomenal. There's a couple, of course, but, like, one of his supers is phenomenal.
Actually, do you know, like, how close they are to, like, I guess, the characters that were in something like Marvel vs. Capcom? Do they have, like, similar movesets, or are they far more, like, different?
I think it would be tough for me to say, but, like, all the animations happen in sort of, like, a 3D, 2.5D sort of space, where like Star-Lord's, for example, he's kind of like flying around the target and like shooting him with different things, right?
I see.
And it will like change the camera as well. Like you're actually going into like an animation for it. And so like to me, it's not really that comparable to Marvel vs. Capcom stuff because that's all still happening in a 2D space. Like with this game, it's just kind of happening like in like its own sort of like locked animation or like a preset animation sort of thing. Miss Marvel's is phenomenal. The combo attacks are amazing as well. One thing I should mention about the gameplay that I actually forgot to is not all of your 4 characters are unlocked from the start of the round. You actually only unlock them through meeting certain prerequisites. One is you lose and you unlock the second fighter for the next, or the third fighter for the next round. You always have 2 characters available at the start of the fight. Third one either unlocks if you do a character break, or I forget the terminology, but it's like a break or something like that, which transfers you to another part of the stage. And you quote unquote find your partner there.
I see.
Or you lose the round and you find your partner as well. And that's basically like the way you unlock like all 4 of your characters.
I see.
So that is also a little bit of strategy involved in that as well. Of like, you know, how quickly do you want somebody available? Who do you start with?
Mhm.
Things like that.
Oh, wait, sorry. If you move to a different part of the level, is that only doing it for, like, I guess, the attacker, or do both players get it?
Both players.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry. That's a good question. I misunderstood the question in the first part. I think it's only the one that is attacking
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
unlocks the character.
Okay.
But yeah, like, there's a lot of interesting things happening there. Now, how that works for a level like the Xavier Academy, where there's actually no breakable sort of like barrier that you go to a different part of the level, I'm curious what's going to happen with a level like that. I haven't actually paid attention to like how quickly you unlock your characters at that point, but that actually introduces a different strategy then, because you're not able to just do like a level break to go and get like, you know, your third fighter and your fourth fighter. So yeah. Now, I will also say about that is I'm curious what the meta game ends up being.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I was like, oh, like, do some levels, is it easier to transition than other ones?
I from what I remember, there's only 3 so far.
Okay.
And the 2 that have the breaks are pretty much identical, I would say, as far as like where you break them. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. Yeah, is this like a Smash Bros kind of situation, right? Like where you have like different levels and like that changes how you play the game and stuff. But more to find out, or like, you know, they'll announce more about that, I'm sure. The thing I'm curious about with the meta game part of things is because I'm approaching this game because of the 4v4 marketing as it's almost like Marvel vs. Capcom, right? Like where it's like you have to switch your characters out. Whereas like if in reality it is a 1v1 fighting game and the other 3 can just be used as assist characters, what does that meta end up being is what I'm curious about. Like when it gets to the competitive scene, are they going to be playing this as if you have one fighter and assist characters? Or are people actually going to be swapping out characters and like, you know, doing combos based on that stuff?
So curious. you can do that just like freely. Because I thought when I initially was reading some stuff about Tokon, it was that like, oh, you pick a way that you're going to use your dudes. Is that how it is, or?
It's the order that you pick your dudes in that does impact the strategy, because that's how you unlock the characters. From what I've seen so far, their attacks are the same, although I don't know if there's diminishing damage output with like the third and fourth, so that I'm not sure about. It is tied to a cost. So like everything does cost something. Every move costs like, you know, energy or whatever it is, except for your basic moves. So even the combos and everything, it's tied to that as well. So like it's not just like you can do it freely any given time. Like I do think there's certain prerequisites you have to meet. Too many things happening on screen at once for me to fully understand, like remember what the prerequisites are. It's not about understanding, it's about remembering, because they do explain it in the tutorial. It's just a lot of things to remember. So yeah. Especially after only playing it 3 hours. That's my excuse. So yeah, I've kind of said a lot about this game, to be honest with you. Like, it is a very fun first impression of it, which is, I think, the sort of like ceiling for me with a game like this. I'm never going to get to a point where I'm like, this game plays well, because it's a fighting game. I genuinely am never going to understand.
Rakush, I believe in you, man. I believe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you just gotta, you know, just invest. You know, after a long, hard day's work, you get to the point where now you can be the one stomping on noobs.
We shall see. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe I'll go back tonight and play the game, and I'll be like, "Wow, I'm actually really good at this." I don't know. Maybe the day off might have helped me out.
Rakush, like, just maybe this is the time to invest in a fight stick or a hitbox.
I remember buying that WWE fight stick like all those years back because it was cheap, and I ended up never using it. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, this is the time. This is the time.
Yeah. Sorry, puppers. The puppy actually barked at me again, so, you know. I feel like the puppy's saying, wrap up the Marvel Tokon conversation,
maybe,
you know?
Maybe.
Yeah, let's, Matt, any final questions about this game?
Rakush, is there anybody who you are hoping shows up in this game?
Oh, yes. Okay. This is honestly the most fun question that I can't believe I actually thought of asking as well, but thank you for bringing this up. I mean, Fantastic Four has to be in this game, I think.
All 4? Oh, wait. Okay,
if you're going with the 4,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, Doom's already in it. Yeah.
The only thing is, like, I do feel like Mr. Fantastic is going to feel like a clone character of Miss Marvel.
That's true.
But if the mechanic is already there, then, like, you know, maybe you can make it work. I don't know. I would love to see some of the X-Men characters. Like, I think Gambit would be phenomenal, but Gambit's in the background of one of these stages. Shockingly, Wolverine's not been announced yet. I do feel like Cyclops might be a good addition to this one.
Oh, Cyclops would probably be cool in this art style. I want to see Nightcrawler in this art style.
Nightcrawler is in the background if you want to see the art style. Now, for what it's worth, Storm is also in the background and she's a playable character. So, it's not like they're all debunked or anything like that. I do feel like it's less likely that you're going to see a lot of X-Men characters.
Yeah.
Wolverine has to be a lock, though. I would be extremely shocked if Wolverine's not a part of this game. Unless, like, there's something happening with, like, not adding him in because his game is coming out or what. I don't know. There might be some weird stuff.
I'm surprised, now that I think about it, I'm surprised, like, Strange isn't in this. I would expect anybody who had a Marvel movie to be in this game.
He could well end up being in this game. But if you ask me who might be a better sorcerer fit to this game, I think like a Scarlet Witch might be a better addition because I don't feel like Doctor Strange is a grappling character. And like what I mean by that is like I can at least envision other characters throwing hands, but Doctor Strange's entire thing is that he cannot throw hands, which is why he basically makes gang signs and does like wizardry and stuff.
I mean, yeah, I would assume he's just like a keep away character.
Basically, yeah. But like I don't know, like, the thing is, there is a lot of melee elements to this game that I don't know if he would be a good fit for it. I'm not saying they cannot make it work. I'm just not envisioning it fully right now. Whereas Scarlet Witch, I feel like would throw down with you.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would love to see Magneto as well, I think. Like, I think if you're talking about, like, old MVC characters as well, I think Magneto would be a great addition. You make him the X-Men 97 version of Magneto, and I know all the fangirls and fanboys are all going to be, you know, sweating over that one as well. So definitely, I think, keep an eye out there. Non-X-Men characters is where I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I'm curious who else I'd want to see. We have Star-Lord in there because of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I do think it's an interesting moveset, but outside of him, like, Adam Warlock might be an interesting one, potentially. Like, I would maybe love to see some, like, obscure characters. Like, the cosmic characters pop up. I think, like, that's where I would love to see
Silver Surfer would be, like, a cool ad. Ooh, I always like the design of Silver Surfer, and I don't think they've ever been in any of the fighting games.
I think the Silver Surfer one is a little bit of an interesting one, because can you do a movement for Silver Surfer with a surfboard? I think that's where the challenge is.
I guess not. Yeah, it would be an awkward coming up with a fighting set for them.
For what it's worth, I will say there's a certain floatiness to this game that might work for a Silver Surfer type character, but it might just be a very difficult character to balance.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's like, again, like, I don't think it's a Smash Bros-esque game where you're going to see like a shitload of characters. So like, I think like they have to be very methodical with who they add in and stuff. I think like, yeah, who else? Thor's got to be in it, I think.
Oh, yeah, Thor.
Thor's definitely got to be in this one.
I'm Hulk a little in it. No,
Hulk has to be in this, right? Like, come on.
See, okay, that's why I was thinking it'd be weird if all of the Fantastic Four was in it, because like I think Thing and Hulk cover the same thing. Like you said, Marvel and Fantastic cover the same thing.
Yeah. So okay, yeah.
I feel like the rep of them would be Sue Storm.
I think you could. I think maybe that's like okay. If Fantastic Four is the first DLC, which I kind of feel shitty saying because I don't want to talk about like day one DLC and stuff, right? But I feel like if you're doing like a seasons pass sort of thing, Fantastic Four would make sense at that point then. But yeah, the more we talk about like similar characters, like what would be different between the Hulk and the Thing? I don't know. So yeah, like Deadpool, I think, is probably going to be in this one. I think Deadpool is too much of a fan favorite to not be added in. Well, actually, I'm curious because like this is a very it is an anime game. Like it's Marvel, but it's anime.
Yeah,
that is a big selling point. So I'm curious if Deadpool makes it because I don't know how popular Deadpool is in Japan.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think like it's doing everything that I personally like about fighting games. Like it's got the over the top insanity going for it. It's got a lot of like, you know, those funky like supers. It's got a lot of just like crazy combos and stuff. I do love seeing like the 4 character combo happening as well. Even though it is pretty much like the same combo, like they're not doing unique moves 4 times. Like it's just kind of like,
I see.
You could, I think, get to a point where they do that, but I haven't seen that happen yet. So yeah, like they're doing a lot of things good. I'm sure fighting game purists are going to be a little bit more critical of it. And I don't mean negatively critical. I just mean like they're going to critique it, right?
Yeah, of course.
I do think the make or break thing for this game is going to be the health. Like the thing we started with, the one health bar. Because if you're advertising this as a 4v4 game and only doing one health bar, I don't know how that's going to go. So
I see.
Yeah. That's Marvel Tokon, man.
I do want to give it a try, but like, you know, I like you. I'm not much of a fighting game person, but yeah, you know, maybe.
Yeah, we shall see. I'm assuming it's a 2026 release for that as well. And hey, I don't know if the game is cheap enough. Maybe I'll buy it. I do think like ultimately, as much as I'm having fun with this it's more about my skill set. I'm not going to spend $90 for a game that I know I'm going to die in a lot and lose in a lot. So yeah. Matt, we've been talking for a while now. We've got one more topic to go through before we end up with this week's Don't Match Me. Both you and I, we also want to talk about some anime that wasn't out in time for our fall episode preview. Or winter episode preview. Which one was it?
Fall. Winter is at the start of the year.
I don't, time's a blur. But it wasn't ready at that point. And I did want to talk about this because the theme of the show, big fan of Tatsuki Fujimoto. And he actually had a anthology series come out for, I believe, 17 to 26, which is his... It's like an anthology manga that has one-shots that he had written between the ages of 17 and 26. And each episode is covering that, of course.
Oh, sorry. How old is he now? Do you know?
33.
Okay.
And it basically, like, he wrote these from 17 to 26 would make this, if he's 33 now, 2011 to 2018, basically, right? Like, that's kind of or 2009 to 2018, I think.
Yeah, I'll trust your math.
Yeah, something like that. He's only a few years younger than us, essentially. Already, like, super popular, so glad for him. Hope he doesn't burn out. But I think, like, the best way to start off is, like, our overall thoughts on this, because it's kind of like a Animatrix-esque anthology thing where, like, they don't really tie in together. They're all very different things. But I thought it was, like, a pretty easy, pleasant 6-episode watch, I would say.
Pleasant 6, bad 8.
Go on.
I think, okay, personally for Rakush, I felt that it started roughly for me.
Okay.
But then it was a lot better for me. Like I think for me personally, the first 2 were probably my least favorites, and then the rest were like much better.
So I think sorry, I'm just I was pulling up the episode guide as well because I just kind of wanted to remember what episodes each ones were. And by the way, this is available on Prime Video for anybody that wants to watch it fully subbed.
Also fully dubbed, I think.
Yeah. In multiple languages since it's Prime. The first episode is a couple clucking chickens were something. Yeah. And basically this one is about... It's an interesting one where it's like aliens of different varieties basically are going to high school here, and the unraveling story is around what has happened to the humans on this version of Earth. And it takes a lot of your typical high school anime tropes and applies it to these very grotesque looking creatures, which honestly is a Fujimoto special.
I thought that was a good goof.
It was a really good goof. But you said it was a bit rough for you to watch?
Yeah, I think there's I understood this is kind of just like a piece about like eating animals and stuff. But I felt like when I was watching this one, it just didn't go anywhere. I thought that it was just like, when I got to the end, I was like, this didn't matter at all.
Fair, yeah. And I'm trying not to spoil like all of the story and stuff either, right? Like, ultimately, I do think it's worth watching it because it's, again, 8 fairly quick episodes. I think you can finish it in 2.5 hours if you sit down to watch it at once.
Yeah, maximum. I think the longest one is like 20... It's less than half an hour, and then the shortest one is I think just under 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's 2.5 hours with Bushi Crapper break if you want. Like, that's basically like, how quick of a watch it is. The second episode is called Sasaki Stop the Bullet. It's basically around, I I honestly, less said about this one, the better. I don't want to explain the plot because I think it's one where, again, like what matters about it, what doesn't matter about it is up to the person watching it.
Yeah. I mean, I said I didn't like this one. I don't think this was particularly bad. I just think it didn't accelerate in the way I wanted it to. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I do think that's a thing with like anthology stuff, right? Like anthologies typically, and the reason I went with the Animatrix as much as I am currently is I think Animatrix was also kind of like a moment in time thing. At least as far as I remember it. Like I feel like there was some things that mattered more than others, of course. Like it's been many years since I watched the Animatrix, but
oh man, I kind of want to watch the Animatrix again.
Yeah, actually the more I'm talking about this, that I might do that again this week. But yeah, especially with like Fujimoto's one shots, like they all are just kind of like snapshots in time more than anything else. Some more than others, but yeah. Episode 3 is called Love is Blind. I think this was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, this was like a good goof type episode, and I really like how it progressed. Like this is kind of the way I wanted episode 2 to progress.
Fair, yeah. I think it was better characters in episode 3 to have this progression with, for what it's worth.
Yeah. It was good. It was good.
I think I think they just kind of handled a very wholesome thing in a very Fujimoto way. And this episode is the one that made me realize he can write happy endings. The fucker just chooses not to.
Honestly, when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh, they have this is Fujimoto Love is War."
Kind of, yeah. Well, a little bit, yeah. But like, I don't know, man. Like the whole exaggeration of everything happening, it's so amazing and it's so hilariously done and everything. So like, I think this was a fun one. Episode 4, I cannot find the name for, but that's the one with the assassin that meets a vampire.
Oh, yes.
And
this is, I think, my favorite one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is this is the most, I feel like, most normal of all of the works.
Define normal. Is it by Fujimoto standards normal?
By my standards normal. Sorry. This is the most like something that I would like watch myself.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it's closest to isekais, is what you're saying.
This is the closest to isekai, yes.
Episode 5, I think, was... Instead of calling it... so episode 5 was Mermaid Rhapsody.
Okay.
That's the title.
Yes.
And...
oh, man. This one had a really good line. Like, if it was a modern day anime and not made by Fujimoto, it would be called, like, You're So Cute, I'd Let You Eat Me or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Bad. I think this one I would call the most sincere of them all, or the most beautiful of them all, personally. Because I think, like, I think Fujimoto tried to tell this story or write this story in an earnest manner. Like, I don't think he was playing up anything for jokes or anything like that, or like there was no real punchline at the end.
Yes.
I think, that's kind of the thing. It's
this is like the most base, if you were to like tag it on my anime list, this is the most like drama romance type, what do you call it? Episode amongst the rest of them.
Yeah. And again, I is it my favorite? Probably not, because I do think number 3 was my favorite.
I think this is like somewhere in the middle for me.
Yeah, I just think it was like definitely really well created. At least the episode was well created, right? So for what it's worth, I would go with that. Episode 6, this is one of the weirder ones. Woke up as a girl syndrome. One morning, I mean, listen, I'm not going to read out the synopsis. The title kind of speaks for itself.
It's all there, the title.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this was like a fun episode.
Yeah. Put a pin in episode 7 because I want to come back to that.
Okay.
Episode 8 was...
Sorry,
I feel like
which one was 8?
So episode 8 is called Sisters. And that's the one about the two sisters that go to art school.
Yeah.
And I think this one...
I like this
one. This is more of a gut feeling that I have, but like it almost feels like this one was a very self-insert one for him, of sort of like how an artist works, right?
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
I don't know if it's like autobiographical. Well, it's not because it's sisters, but like I do feel like there's a certain self-insert happening with this episode where like I think he's trying to explain the mind of an artist a little bit more and how it is a little bit weird, right? And like. One thing, like, I do think about Fujimoto is that everything always feels sincere or authentic in a way.
Yes.
Even though it's super weird and like the punchlines are a little bit like low meme kind of thing. But I think it might just be like, hey, that's just manga nowadays sort of thing. Or like media nowadays. And I think with this one, this is another one which is kind of played. There is a quote unquote punchline at the end, but like there's no real. It's not a played for jokes punchline. It is just genuinely like a sincere moment at the end between like siblings and stuff.
Yeah.
And it always is the thing with the Fujimoto works that like anytime you're watching something that is a little bit bizarre or a little bit just like, what the fuck am I like reading right now or like watching right now? A moment of sincerity always just kind of like peeks out, you know, and like, Jaren mentioned in like, you know, when we were chatting about the Resi arc, spoilers, I think it's actually going to be on digital in like a couple of days.
Yeah,
so by the time this episode comes out, you might be able to watch it on streaming. But like he mentioned how like there's that scene where like Denji just goes, everybody wants the Chainsaw Man's heart, nobody wants Denji's heart. And it's such a funny moment, but also a very sincere moment, right? And it's just like, that's Fujimoto work a lot, right? And I think like that's what episode 8 felt like to me, is him trying to do a little bit of a personal introspection through his work. And this might just be, again, me sort of like headcanoning, like, you know, an artist that I'm a big fan of. So
I mean, like, I also do feel like of the 8, this one did feel the most kind of like sincere to me as well.
Yeah.
And I do generally think that like this was, I think story-wise, the most interesting to me, or like plot-wise. But that might just be because it's also still kind of like reality-grounded compared to the other ones.
For sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess now that you mentioned it, yes, it is the one that doesn't really have any supernatural elements going for it, right? So, yeah. It is an interesting one. I will say it's a weird one. I definitely think that it was uncomfortable by design as well. One thing I will mention about this episode, even though I haven't spoiled the other episodes, is that this one kind of starts with they're in an art school, and the story is that the best piece of art every year is hung at the front of the school for an entire calendar year.
Yeah.
And the main character's sister does a portrait of the main character, but in the nude.
Yeah.
And that is now hanging at the front of the school for the whole year. So the main character is obviously like, what the fuck? I don't know what this is. I didn't like consent to this and stuff like that as well. But it's more about sort of like this exploration of how her sister even got to the point of making this piece.
Yeah.
But it does go into some weird places that I do think is a bit uncomfortable for some folks to definitely like, you know, make their peace with. So like, not for everybody. It is a little bit heavy on like, you know, a lot of tropes you see in like Japanese stuff and anime stuff. But I'll leave it at that.
You know, I do want to just say, I do think that like what the main character does at the end with her piece, that's a power move.
It is a power move, yes. And I think it's like a good way of wrapping the story up, because I think without that finale, you don't really understand what is happening with the plot. But then that's why I go back to like, I think Fujimoto is doing an introspection on like how he approaches art and like how he understands like feelings through art and stuff as well, I guess. So yeah. We put a pin in episode 7.
Yes.
I do want to talk about this now.
Okay, yeah. Rakush, is this just like a Chainsaw Man offshoot? Because this is the most Chainsaw Man looking one of all the pieces in this anthology.
Matt, beyond just the Chainsaw Man offshoot, part 2 has the exact same character, Nayuta.
Okay.
Same design, I think. Different origins, but same design. Okay. So that's why I wanted to put
so this is an AU.
AU?
Alternate universe.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if you want
sorry,
to
these are fan fiction terms.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, come on. Who are you talking to right now? I'm not sure, dude. Come on.
Sorry. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. My bad.
I mean, I know I was good. I didn't even do a greetings friends at the start of this episode, did I?
No, I don't think you did.
I just went right into your dog hate speech.
You normally do.
No, I tried to do a greetings friends. I tried to do my Jared impression, but it doesn't work out. But this one, yeah. So, I mean, even the main character's name is Kenji instead of Denji, right? So, like, there's a lot.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, there's a lot Chainsaw Man happening with this one. I've never actually looked up a lot of, like, was there a true connection between this and Chainsaw Man? But, like, wouldn't be surprised if this heavily inspired what ended up being Chainsaw Man. Because a lot of, like, the core emotions and stuff that Chainsaw Man explores are part of this series, especially in part 2. to the point where Naruto is an actual character in part 2 as well, right? So like there's a lot of this stuff that will come up in future Chainsaw Man episodes and chapters and stuff as well. I guess like the only reason I wanted to put a pin in that is because it is the thing that ties into everything we know Fujimoto for now, right? So like, I found that to be an interesting episode. As you called it, AU episode, but it was very difficult for me to kind of like take it as its own thing. And I think that's kind of what I struggled with this episode the most, is kind of accepting that like this is before like, he started like all the Chainsaw Man proper work, right? Although I'm pretty sure like by the time this comes out, or like the works have all come out as one shots, I think you might have already started Chainsaw Man at that point. I should check the first chapter release date for the Chainsaw Man.
Because like when I was watching it, just art style vibes wise, like I said, this was the most Chainsaw Man-y, and Nayuta definitely seemed like a character that I would not be surprised to see in that series.
Yeah, so Chainsaw Man started in 2018 December, so it's actually been like 7 years as of this recording. And so, just like it's clearly a lot of inspirations there. He was clearly probably already working on Chainsaw Man at that point, had that idea in his brain for a long time. I guess I'm a little bit intrigued at the fact that he did introduce this Naruto character into Chainsaw Man proper as well, but not the first time we've seen artists do something like that either, so not that shocking. I think it's just interesting because it's rarely ever that you see like the early works get like adaptations like this. That that's the fascinating thing. So that's Fujimoto's 17 to 26 collection. Funny enough, also I just saw a news release that Look Back is getting a live action adaptation as well. I'm still waiting for Goodbye Eri to be animated. I really want that series. Which
one was Goodbye Eri? Is that the film one?
That's the film one. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. Oof, man. I don't know if we'll ever get that or not. But yeah, Matt, 17 to 26. I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch. Like, I think that there will definitely be something in there for everyone to there might be some, stuff that you don't like, jive with, like for me, but you will, I think, find something that you'll jive with in there somewhere.
I do find it fascinating to see the range that he has as well, right? And ultimately, why were these all collected together? It's one artist. But it's one artist that I think is showing a range for the funny stuff, the serious stuff, the heartbreaking stuff, the heartwarming stuff. Like, he goes in many different directions with these one-shots in a way that I think is fascinating, right? Like, the one-shots he also released between parts 1 and 2 of Chainsaw Man. Look Back being one, Goodbye Eri being another one. Just Listen to the Song, I think was the name of the third one that he released.
Look Back was between Chainsaw Man parts.
Yeah. Just Listen to the Song, I think, was the last one that came out right before part 2 started. That became a little bit of an annoying tropey statement that people were saying with early part 2 chapters, because everybody was like, what is going on? This is not what Chainsaw Man. It's like, just listen to the song, stuff like that. And he's got a crazy range, I think I think what I'm glad about as well is that a lot of times what can tend to happen is an artist is only known for one thing.
Yeah.
It could very well end up being that Fujimoto is only known for one thing as well, but seeing Look Back success, clearly it's gotten an animated adaptation, it's getting a live action, so clearly there's something there. But yeah, it clearly seems at least the market in Japan is very fascinated by what this dude's creating. So yeah, glad to see him getting his flowers in the moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Matt, I think we've talked about a lot of things. I've talked about a lot of things. I feel like this episode, more than anything else, I've just kind of talked a shit ton. I need a lot of water. But you need me to talk a little bit more.
Yes, I do, Rakush.
Because we're doing a Don't Match Me episode or segment.
And this time it's on you. It's on you.
Matt, I think it's a bit of a monumental one, right? Because
is it?
We are, for the first time ever, doing a Don't Match Me in person.
Oh, yes. No, wait, we have to Don't Match Me in person.
Have we? Which one?
Because I remember you saying that we should say it at the same time, and then thinking, no, that's going to be audio garbage.
Oh, okay. All right. Man, I can't even remember how long ago that was because it feels like I haven't been at the Clubhouse in a couple of years. So let's say This is the first Don't Match Me in person, a very special Don't Match Me in person in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I didn't write a Don't Match Me.
Amazing. But cool. We can just end the episode now. Oh man, this is monumental, occasion where I was supposed to prepare something and I just did it.
But here's the thing, man. I think I'm gonna do this on the fly. I'm gonna write it on the fly, man.
Okay.
I am gonna do a Don't Match Me Clubhouse edition.
Okay. Okay.
So, all right. We're not going to paint the full picture of the Clubhouse for everybody. We don't want everybody to know exactly what it looks like. We got to keep a little bit of the charm going, But I'm just going to stare at a few things, and I'm going to basically decide to ask a question based on that. So I think starting off here, and this is going to be very difficult for the listeners to follow along with. So
this is garbage to the listeners. You know what? We want to interact with this.
No,
the people that I turned this into a short for are going to just not be able to do this one.
Watch me save the segment.
Okay.
You watch me save the segment. All right.
I believe.
So question number 1. Matt is a big fan of board games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm staring at a lot of board games that he has right now.
Okay.
So this is going to be a question that I'm going to ask for us to not match each other. But then I'm going to ask a different question to the audience to not match with us.
My God. This is insane. Okay.
No, it's going to work. I promise you. Watch, okay? So the first question is, Matt, you and I have to pick one of the board games that's in your cabinet, but the listeners just have to name a board game that neither of us are going to mention.
Okay.
It's going to work. Watch. Trust me. Okay? It's going to work. All right?
Okay.
I might need you to explain what some of these board games are too, by the way, because, All right, Matt. In 3, 2, 1. I'm actually going to go with an old reliable here, Matt.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Settlers of Catan.
Oh, I was thinking that one. I went to the one right beside it, which is Dominion.
You've got 2 Dominions here. Are you going with the main Dominion?
Dominion Original.
Dominion Original. Okay, I was going to go with the Dominion Intrigue, is it called?
Yes.
I was curious about that. I'm curious what the listeners went with. But Matt, I got to ask you a question. I'm seeing 2 boxes here. One is called Hanami Koji, and the other is called Shadows in Kyoto.
Yes. Those are 2 pretty good games. Both 2-player only games. Shadows in Kyoto is almost like a mix between like chess and spies.
Okay.
Hanami Koji, I think, is actually one of my favorite board games in general.
Oh, shit, okay.
It is basically you are like, not tavern, like inn owners, and you're trying to have like court the geishas to perform inside your inn.
Oh, shit. Okay. Fascinating. Is there a digital version of this that we could play for a future episode, do you think?
I don't think there's an official one. I'm pretty sure that it is on, like Tabletop Simulator.
Okay. Maybe I might ask you to play this one soon as well.
I honestly suggest that, if you are looking for a 2-player like board game to play, Hanami Koji is really, really good.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that's question number 1 done. I'm looking at another one of your pieces on the cabinet for question number 2. Matt, I see a lot of Pokemon plushies.
Yes.
I want you to name one of these Pokemon plushies, and for the listeners, I want you to name just the Pokemon.
Okay.
I think this is one of the easier questions we're going to ask here. All right. I mean, okay, so the interesting thing we should mention about a lot of the plushies, not all of them, is that I'm pretty sure a lot of them are Dittos that are just shaped as other Pokemon.
Yes, it has the Ditto face, but it has the Pokemon shape.
So I'm not saying name the Ditto, I'm saying name the Pokemon for this, right? So let's go in 3, 2, 1. Matt, I think I'm going to go with the Cyndaquil.
Ooh, one of the not Dittos.
One of the not Dittos, yeah. It's,
I went with one of the Dittos. I went with the Clefairy.
That's a good one, yeah. It's a cool collection. Let's see what the audience goes with for this one as well. I'm going to keep it moving. I'm staring at the very top of one of the shelves on the Clubhouse here.
Yes.
Matt, I want you to name one... Actually, you know what? This is a universal question. It's not just what you have here. The audience can play along as well. I and I'm pretty sure it's been asked before. Name a Gundam character.
Ooh, okay. Like a Gundam, a mobile suit.
A mobile suit Gundam character.
Yes.
Yeah. Or sorry, name the actual mech.
Yes.
Not the character itself. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I might actually just need to confirm the name of the one I'm thinking of because it's I don't think this is spoilers, but like it's the only Gundam that I was ever really intrigued to buy when I worked at a comic book shop or a hobby shop.
Okay.
But I'm ready to go when you are, man.
I'm good.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna go with the Mobile Suit Crossbone Gundam.
Ooh. That's a good Gundam. I don't have that one, but that's a good Gundam.
The only reason I wanted to go with that one is because there's versions of it that have like the green
like the cloak?
The cloak, yeah.
It's
like I think it's like the only Gundam that has a cloak, if I remember correctly.
There is another one that has a cloak. I think it's up there somewhere.
Okay.
There's like a broken Exia, where it's like missing one of its arms. It has a broken sword. It's up there somewhere. It's basically just in repair. So it's not really a cloak. It's more so like a tarp that they put on it.
Got it.
But the one that I went with was my good old Heavy Arms.
Of course.
Yes. That fool's a classic.
He's got a lot of cool Gundams in the Clubhouse here. I do also see a lot of I see a lot of different franchises up there. I also see one that's a Hello Kitty Gundam.
Yes, the Hello Kitty Gundam is a new favorite of mine.
I also see one of the Zoids right behind it as well, so that's cool.
Rakush, if you look up there very closely, you will see a model of a cup ramen.
I do see a cup ramen model there as well. That's one of the best Gundams ever. Matt, that's 3 questions down. See, the audience is listening along.
Okay.
You doubted me.
This is going better than I thought.
You doubted me. Look at this, right? And here I am.
If I'm not going to doubt you, I feel like that's I think doubt is my default.
Yeah.
when it's you doing
doubt
something.
is the default of anyone who interacts with me, so I completely understand it. Let me just take a peek around. You have a lot of Pokemon plushies in the Clubhouse. Because, like, I just looked to my right, and there's, like, a life-size... Well, that's not a life-size. That's, like, a life-size times 10 Pikachu.
I mean, there's only 2 Pokemon in that pile.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
And one of them's not a real Pokemon, it's a substitute.
You know what, Matt? I do have my next question here. And again, this is a 4th question, another one the audience can actually listen along with and play along with.
Okay.
I am seeing a Kamen Rider figure on the top there.
Yes.
With a cool ass pose. Looks almost like a wrestler. I think name a Kamen Rider series is my next question.
Ooh, okay.
Now, this is also, of course, inspired a lot by us currently still watching Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. Have you caught up to that series
No,
yet?
I'm still, I haven't watched it since we last talked about it.
It's so good. Oh my god. Like, it is just, it's very, like, literally cringy. Like, I know, like, cringe is a term people just use to be like, oh, that's cringe. No, like, I'm actually, like, my body is actually physically, like, you know, just sort of, like, contorting a little bit sometimes. Where I'm like, ooh, I don't want to see that. Like, you know, it's a little bit awkward.
I didn't get back in. Yeah, I think I'm, like, 4 or maybe 5 episodes behind, so. Which is basically half of what's out right now.
Yeah, that's half of the series, yeah. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, I think I'm going to go with the series Kamen Rider Black, which is in 1987.
That's a classic.
Rider.
That's a classic. That's a good. Actually, I really like the design of that. I'm not saying the design of that Gundam, the design of that Kamen Rider.
Which is, I mean, like, you put black on anything, right? It's, of course, like, it's going to look sleeker, but yes, like, it is a pretty cool design. Highly encourage folks to look it up. Which one are you going with?
I mean, I'm going with the model up there. I'm going with Kamen Rider Double.
Because he's half black, half white. Okay. Not race. That's the color of the suit, by the way. Sorry, we should mention.
Rakush, I also have that Kamen Rider belt in the, like, top right shelf of the Calyx.
I do see it, yes. That's pretty sick. And I see another item there for the last question, actually, that I think the players can play along with as well. I see a Power Rangers item there. Matt, I want you to name any Power Ranger.
Any Power Ranger?
Yes. Not the human names of the characters. Like, you can just go, like, I mean, yeah, like, you know what I mean. In 3, 2, 1. Matt, I gotta go with the Johnny Young Bosch Power Ranger. That's the
which edition of Johnny Young Bosch are you going with?
I'm going with the second Black Power Ranger.
Ooh,
Johnny Young
that's
Bosch.
good. That's a classic. That's a good classic.
You did also play later. I'll answer that afterwards. But what's your answer?
I mean, I'm going with what brought me back into Power Rangers as an adult, which is Japanese name of like Tokai Red, but if you go for their English translation, it's Super Mega Force Red.
Fair enough. Yeah, Johnny Young Bosch also played the Green Zeo Ranger and the first Green Turbo Ranger. Man, Johnny Young Bosch. I haven't thought of that
honestly,
name in a long time.
Yeah, whenever I remember when I first found out that he was like moved from Power Rangers to English anime voiceover, and I was like, oh man, this guy.
Matt, that's Don't Match Me.
Oh,
look at me saving it. Clubhouse edition.
You went with a different question than I thought you were going to for that last one.
What did you think I was going to ask? Let's do a bonus round.
I thought you were going to say, I'm pretty sure in there is the original Power Rangers Megazord as well.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, name one of these Zords that makes the original Power Rangers Megazord.
It could have been any Power Rangers thing, for sure. I was even going to say maybe name a Power Rangers monster, but
that is way too broad. I don't think I can. Yeah.
Matt, you've got a cool Clubhouse going here still after all these years. Thank you for maintaining it.
Yo, thanks for coming over here and making so I don't have to go over to you.
Yes, maybe just keep the window closed a little bit next time so that
I like sleeping in the cold.
You just revealed you sleep in the Clubhouse.
Well, this is where I spend a lot of time. I fart in here a lot too, so I wanted to have that window open for you as well.
Well, thank you for not farting in the Clubhouse. Thank you for saving it for when you're having your bougie craps. Yeah. Matt, I think this has been the episode for this week of the Mistake Zone.
Yeah. That's definitely an episode of the Mistake Zone.
The mistakes in our lives and the friends we share them with. Is that what Jaron says?
Oh man, why can't I remember what Jared says? Oh.
Is it something like the mistakes we make and the friends within them?
Something like that. I feel like that might be right, but it sounds wrong coming from you.
How do we not know what he says every single week to start off with?
This is like when someone ambushes you on the street and they're like, name a woman. And you're like, oh no, I don't know.
Now you guys know how it felt when we had to play the Don't Match Me with the video game names in it.
Quake.
That one, I was so tilted by that one.
What else?
To be fair, I did look up the game starting with Q after that. There was not a lot.
Quest 64.
Oh, God. Matt, take it away.
Oh, man. This is, you know what? This has been a Mistake Zone, and we're all out of Jaren-free episodes for a while.
Now you're going to have a lot of Rakush-free episodes.